Welcome back, guys. Right now Zen is having a look at the top 10 gaming time sinks. These games keep us playing for hours or even days because they either make you want the highest score possible, or they have so much content you never want to leave. Let us know what game you've sunk the most time into on our Facebook page.
Fitting nicely into place at number 10 is the classic puzzle game Tetris. Its devilishly simple premise makes it easy for players to keep coming back to clear more lanes. The votes are in, and in 9th place is Democracy 3, the political simulator. What makes this game grip you and consequently eat up all of your waking hours is how effectively it makes players feel like they really are leading a country.
To make up the difference. I won over the commuters and Greens by pushing for public transportation and banning GM crops.
Dragons beware, because coming in at number 8 is an epic adventure set in a winter wonderland. Skyrim captures the hearts of both old and new fans of the series with its huge cast of NPCs and assortment of quests. Building up to number 7 is a modern iteration of the classic city construction series, SimCity. Despite a rocky beginning, the game has been patched to become a fleshed out and enjoyable way to sink your free hours away. Scoring a goal at number 6 is the aptly named Football Manager 2015. Spreadsheet and football lovers alike will find themselves unable to tear away from the strategic time sink.
It's over. You know it's not over because you have a plan. So players go, then players come. You show this team how to win. And win. And
Number 5 brings us to the MOBA giant, League of Legends. The average player has spent over 1,000 hours playing League. This stems from the huge champion pool and a plethora of team compositions available, keeping the game fresh and exciting every time. Everyone wants to catch them all, and that brings us to the Elite Four of our list, Pokemon. The collectible creature crew creator manages to hook us in with every iteration. To compete with the thriving online community, you can find yourself playing for hours to train up your team. At number 3 is the sandbox game you can never put down, Minecraft. Players are given the tools to create whatever they wish, leading to hours spent mining away to collect the resources for your next big project. Upon counsel with our political advisors, we have decided that Sid Meier's Civilization V is our number 2. Strategic minds will find themselves enthralled as they juggle the many challenges of running a successful empire, while uttering just one more turn.
Mankind found little solace, rushing to action on impulse without forethought.
Wowing us at number 1 is World of Warcraft. This classic MMORPG has maintained a massive fan base for over a decade. The 11 million registered users have collectively played over 5.9 million years online, which is why we think it definitely deserves to be our number 1 biggest gaming time sink.
So I'm here at E3 2015 with Aaron and Brian. We're here to talk about Battleborn. Now, the way the Battleborn came up and it was started to become a game was quite interesting. I've heard that it was out of a love of a lot of different games coming into one idea. Can either of you talk a little bit about how it kind of came together?
Well, yeah, I mean, the game really kind of came out of the situation where we wanted to do a game that, we'd been doing all these games with amazing characters, amazing personalities, so we wanted to kind of take that somewhere further. We wanted to kind of dig into player versus player, competitive gaming a bit, but yet keep the kind of single player games that we've been in, sort of the whole sort of story-driven games that we've done, and co-op, right? Wanted to keep all that together. So we kind of looked at a lot of different things, and fighting games for one was a huge influence for this kind of game. Obviously, some of the other shooters that are out there, and then even the MOBA genres. And we've looked at kind of a little bit of everything to kind of genre blend like we're kind of known for doing.
Yeah, it's a very team-driven approach. Having just come off of so many Borderlands games, which we love and we love making, but wanted to do something kind of different, we asked the team what are the things that they're excited about, and we're all gamers, and we're looking at what's the next thing that we want to do. Well, we have fun making characters, and we thought, well, what kind of game can we make where we get to make a lot more characters that you can play as, knowing it takes a lot of time to make each one of them. So how can we kind of condense that a bit, or how can we do that so you can play with have a lot of choice there. We like writing stories, we like creating universes, so we want to have things with big consequences. So in this game where you have the stars that are blinking out, and now you're all these species are being driven towards Solus, which is the last star, creates a really compelling backdrop, we thought, for having lots of characters and the relationships between them. Of course, they want to decide who's going to survive in this new reality where not all these species are going to be able to survive in one place, and you have this impending threat of this Varelsi force, these dark, mysterious creatures that are appearing, into these planets around the last star. Yeah. And we also like competitive gaming, but we haven't focused a lot on competitive gaming recently, especially with Borderlands, which is so heavily co-op focused. So we wanted one where we could have fun as a studio, and see what we could offer that spreads across all those things.
You were talking about the universe and the last planet that they're all on. With the 25 characters, they're all in kind of different factions. They want different things to happen with this last kind of bastion, if you want. How does that work in the story? You have the 3 different factions that want different stuff, but is it you're all against the one common kind of goal?
Sure. Well, the different factions, they all have their different motivations.
Yeah.
In fact, the map that you played today, which character have you played as? Do you remember?
I played as the vampire / non-vampire.
The Wrath?
Yeah.
Wrath, who's degenerate.
Yeah.
They all have their different motivations. So what you did in the map that you played today was you were with your group, and you were going to fight against this impending Varelsi force. You saw the black portal coming down, and you know that if you don't do something to stop that, they're going to invade this planet, one of the last planets that your species can live on. To get there, you had to go through a former Peacekeeper armory, where the Peacekeepers had kept all of their weapons in their fight against the Varelsi and other factions that, in order to sort of keep things cool. That's the way they play it. Oscar Mike is a Peacekeeper. He's the kind of more traditional FPS type of character that you would play as. You have the Eldred Miko, who's the mushroom sort of spellcaster.
Sentient mushroom.
Yep, that's right. So you have their motivation is they believe in the natural order of things, and the degenerate are the ones who really believe in rule by force, and the Varelsi, who you'll be fighting against, we're not quite sure what their motivations are, but they don't seem good.
I was playing as Wrath 4, and one thing that stood out to me was just how fast-paced everything was. I was running in, I was slashing, I was getting out, I was using my ultimate and stuff like that. How much variation between all 25 characters is there? Is there people who are going to be playing a lot very different than that, or?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of variety. I mean, that's kind of the fun for us is having 25 characters that really lets our designers kind of come up with new ideas, coupled with whatever our concept artists are kind of creating, and they kind of come together, and then they riff on this idea. And then as we sort of get playing and we're playtesting the game every day, it starts to change how those particular characters are. So it's really important to us that between not just the 5 that you may be playing at a time, or even when you're playing by yourself, but when you're playing that way, that there's even more diversity as you kind of bring in these other characters, and that it's always something different and unique.
Cool. Well, I'm really looking forward to the game. Hopefully, I can get some time with the multiplayer sometime soon.
Yeah, good.
I'm not sure if you'll be at other expos this year.
I have a feeling we will.
Wink, wink. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you
Great.
enjoyed the game.
Yeah.